Our next speaker, Judy Herschel, is a wife of a small business owner and a career mom to two young boys from Susquehanna Depot. She has a Bachelor's of Arts degree in anthropology and is certified through the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as a drug and alcohol counselor with 18 years of experience. She is a community advocate for justice, and her family lineage reaches back 7 generations in Susquehanna County. Judy is running for U.S. Congress in the 10th Congressional District. Judy, and she's doing that for her children and the future of all of our children. Can we welcome Judy Herschel?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Thank you, Dwayne, very much, and thank you, Marley, and Action Together. Senator Casey and Congressman Cartwright are very strong voices for the people of Pennsylvania, and it's extremely encouraging to see them fighting for us against this awful tax bill. My name is Judy Herschel, and I hope to join them in fighting for Pennsylvanians by winning the 10th District in 2018. Since launching my campaign in July, I have spoken to many people in every county throughout the 10th District, and I have been to all 15 of them. Republicans and Democrats, we are united in our concerns in 4 key areas: healthcare, jobs, education, and the impact of the opioid crisis. This tax bill will have a negative effect on all of these issues. Despite the empty and false promises that our current administration is peddling, this bill is misguided, it's bad for the economy, and it's bad for the people that are living, working, and raising a family here in Pennsylvania. In fact, millions of struggling and working families will have a tax increase, and for those that don't, will get a temporary tax break. Not one struggling or working class family in this country should get any tax increase. We are struggling enough. So I want you to take a look at the person on your left, and then take a look at the person on your right. And I want you to ask your neighbor, who can afford to pay more in taxes to ensure that the richest Americans can enjoy a tax break that they do not need? And no one. And who's going to foot the bill for helping the top 1%? We are. Yep. Regular working Pennsylvanians like myself and many of you who are working very, very hard and already juggling how to provide for our families and for a better future. A better future for our community that includes access to affordable quality health care, steady, well-paying jobs, modern, good education for our children, and actual solutions to the opioid crisis. Yeah. This tax bill does absolutely nothing to make any of these issues more attainable. The promise of new good-paying jobs as a result of these very large, massive tax cuts to big corporations is a downright lie. Yes, it is. Trickle-down economics does not work. With health care, repealing the individual mandate is the beginning of the end for the Affordable Care Act. We will see our premiums skyrocket, making medical bankruptcies a real threat to many families. 13 million people will lose their coverage, and there will be massive cuts to Medicaid, Social Security, and Medicare. And this will have devastating consequences on our seniors, our veterans, individuals with disabilities, people who are receiving treatment for substance abuse and mental health disorders, and our children. Now is a time that we must focus on, and Washington focus on, the things that are important to us, like preserving net neutrality and funding the CHIP program. Some of our most vulnerable citizens, 9 million children, will lose their access to health care by the dismantling of the CHIP program. I was recently speaking with a mother whose son has severe asthma and receives his treatment and his medication through the CHIP program. Without the CHIP program, he will be critically ill. He will be in and out of the hospital. He needs CHIP, and so do the other children that rely on this bipartisan program. And let's be clear, we need to continue to speak up so that Washington knows that we do not approve of this, and we do not approve of this tax bill. And we should kill the bill.
Kill the bill! Kill the bill! Kill the bill! Kill the bill!
And we should honor our fellow Americans in Alabama and hold off on a vote until Doug Jones arrives on the Senate floor. This tax bill is bad policy compounded by bad politics. It was rushed through the dead of the night through the Senate without a single public hearing. Our representatives had less input than special interests, big donors, and the lobbyists that are lining the pockets of our current administration. You see, our current administration sold the future of our children that night to the tune of more than $1 trillion. These tax cuts will be paid for by our children, our grandchildren, and their grandchildren. These tax cuts will be paid for by cuts to Medicaid, Social Security, and Medicare. And its impact will be felt for very long and very hard. Washington, we need people in Washington that will listen to their constituents, that will fight for what they believe in and for what is right. We need people who will stand by the working class and against special interests. We need people who will fight for justice, equality, and fairness, like Bob Casey and Matt Cartwright. And I will too. I will too. We must continue to resist. We must continue to rally. We must march. And we must continue to fight for what we believe in. And more importantly, we must take back the House and the Senate in 2018. My name is Judy Herschel, and I am proud to run for U.S. Congress in the 10th District of Pennsylvania and take the voice of the people to Washington, D.C. Thank you very much.